Tonight is March the 1st, 2016, and I'm going to make a short video here, short and sweet I hope, video of this old Collins 30K-1 transmitter. I've actually made a video on it earlier, a year or so ago, I don't remember the exact date, and a lot of people looked at it and give me thumbs up, and but I gotta show you something. Look what I finally got. I finally got that emblem back. It took me 41 years of owning this transmitter to get it back. I bought this thing in 1975 over near Atlanta, Georgia, and I paid $75 for it. It had some parts already taken out of it, and it kind of worked. It's an AM rig. It used to run a 4-125 in here, and I modulated it with a pair of 75 THs. Well, I kept it like that for quite a long time, kind of as a museum piece, and then I decided, well, I need to do something better with it. And I've used this for an amplifier base more than once. I used to run a pair of 4-400s in here, and they were beautiful. Looking through that window with those, you know, with the plates glowing red. But then in 1983, I updated to this 4CX1000, and it'll put out a full 1600 watts. And I'm just so proud of my Collins emblem. What I had was I had an emblem over there, right there, that I cut out of an old Collins antenna tuner and very lovingly put it in there. Who knows? Maybe this was one that was stolen off of it back before I bought it. Anyway, some of the things I didn't show on the other video with this transmitter that I think you'll like is when I've got it like this, it's bypassed. It's like the amplifiers out there. Everything's going through these two Dow key relays that are inside of it. But when I put it up, when I enable the plate and put it in the ready condition, now if I turn the transmitter on, it'll key the transmitter up. I don't leave the high voltage on. I know some amplifiers do. They leave the high voltage on and they bias the tube off with a very negative bias voltage. I don't do that. I turn the high voltage on and off. I've never had any problems with it. In 1983, that was 33 years ago, so it's been working nice ever since. And if I key it up, well, I'll key it up right here to show you. Got to put it on. I'm not going to load it up and show you how much power I can get out of it and everything. I've already done that. But when I key the microphone here, see, it comes up. Comes up to 3,000 volts. There's my plate current. I know that the light up there pretty much swamps the camera if I don't leave it there for a second. On the left is grid voltage, screen. That's actually not screen current. It's biased that way so that you can read negative screen current. It's complicated. I won't get into it. There's the grid current, zero grid current. You could load it up to 1 or 2 milliamps if you need to, and then the plate current is idling at 250 mils at 3 kilovolts, and there it is. Now, if I put it in stop, these are some old computer. The stop and start buttons were some old computer surplus parts that I took, you know, from White Sands when I was out there. The old equipment that we discombobulated. I was always scrounging parts out of it. And anyway, there it is. So if I key it up now, as I'm keying you can probably hear it. It just goes straight through, and the amplifier is not in line with it. But anyway, there it is. Finally got my emblem back. This thing was made in 1947. Magnificent steel. Rolls around like its own glass. See? Those wheels. Still something I'm proud of. While I'm at it, I guess I might as well show the rest of my station. In the only other video I made of this 30K-1, I did not have this 30L-1 at the time. That's a recent addition to my station. Those of you familiar with it know that it's got 4 811s in it. I think they're beautiful. Does a magnificent job. I did have to change the power supply board in it because it just didn't work anymore. But I got it for a decent price, and cosmetically it's in very nice shape. This is a 32S-1 and the 75S-3, and then this little station monitor thing with the power supply down there at the bottom with my original 1963 D104. Different head though. It's not the original head. I use a frequency counter out here that gives me an accurate readout. This is my little ICOM. This is actually the one I use to drive this 30K-1 over here. I use all of the S-line, these four together. This 32S-1 drives the 30L-1. Here's something that you might find a little interesting. This is an old bird, what they call that, an RF power analyst. It was given to me. It was no good. But so I took all the guts out, and I had this gigantic 30 microamp meter movement, and I used the this line section here, and I put a switch in the back. It's actually back here, and I can switch in the high one or the low one. The low one if I'm using it without the amplifier, the high one if I'm using it with the amplifier, or of course I can turn them around backwards and measure the forward power and the reflected power with the flip of switch. So this part right here, this line section, stayed perfectly good. Yeah, I guess you all know this, but when you rub a lot of these old glass meters, or even some of the plastic ones, you can put a heck of a static charge on them. The way you get rid of that is just rub it with something a little bit liquid. Look at that. Looks like I'm putting out a lot of power there and I'm doing nothing. I've done that before in making videos. I've actually, you know, when I'm trying to show things, I've actually accidentally done that and put some big static charges on it. Well, I'll take it off in a minute. And lastly, I guess, is this antenna tuner. This has been a good one. Uses the split stator over here. I don't remember, there's a name that they use for it. It's a very common one, been around for a very long time. And the roller inductor, and this is the output capacitor. A vacuum capacitor in the output is a little bit of overkill, but what the heck, it's beautiful, and I had it, so why not use it. I do have a turns counter here on the roller and a turns counter here on the vacuum capacitor, and this is just this, I don't know what this came off. Actually, I do know what this came off of. I believe that this knob right here actually came off of this transmitter. I believe it was one of the three that used to be up there. So there you go, that's my station. And then I can monitor it here on this little Tektronix 485 scope. So there you go. That's my ham radio world right there. And I use a G5RV Junior. Very, very humble little antenna, but it works pretty good. Works good for me. And lastly is this little Tec Argosy I have that I worked on just recently as the all of these things. I've had a couple of Tecs and I like them, but the way that they do their dial is a little goofy. And what I did with this one, and you can see what happens inside is they've got a rubber band on this darn thing right here. This is a little LED that's being moved up and down, and it's real easy to work on. You just pull the knobs off, and then you take these 4 screws out right here, and it'll come right off. You got to be gentle with it, but you can work on it easily enough. Like I say, you got to remove every knob, including this. And this one just presses on, and you slide it around to adjust it. But the way that I made it work, and it took some doing, it took some tinkering with, is I used some really good quality military grade dial cord, and I put little springs on each end, and you can see that it tracks all the way from one end to the other. Very what's the word I'm looking for? Very good each time. Right here, let's see if we go to, I'll turn it on, put a little bit of carrier in, just a little bit, a little bit of drive right there. So you can hear the receiver over there. That's 14.250. We're on the 14.0. There's the 14.2. There's the 50. So it works good, but everything has been really solid. Been a solid little rig, except for that thing right there. But I think I got it fixed, and I think it's going to last a long time. So if you have one of these, you can fix it when this thing goes kaput, and it will go kaput on you. If you've never fixed it and you've had one that's as old as this one, then it's probably not working. So I encourage you to fix it, and you can. Like I say, a little spring, like a spring out of ballpoint pens and stuff. Maybe a little bit stronger than that. You got to tinker with it. Hope this helps.